Welcome, everybody, to Casting for Two, the podcast, as always, hosted by yours truly, Chris. I am blowing out the mic right now. Whoa, I'm coming in too hot. Too hot for the hot tub. Welcome, everybody, to episode number 348. Hopefully, my levels are better, because you know what? When it comes to these intros, I only do it once. And however I do it, that's how it goes out. So... yeah, that I'm a professional. Of course, if you'd like to keep up with anything that I do online, besides the show or show related, either or, make sure to follow my Instagram and Twitter, both at Casting for Two. And however you're listening to this podcast on your favorite streaming platform, whether it's Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Radio Public, any of those, or even the website, feel free to leave a review. Let me know what you like about the show, and I could read it live in this intro if I need to kill time, which today I don't need to kill time because I have a wonderful guest stopping by on the podcast, Michelle Dos Santos, who is a writer-director based out of L.A., and she contacted me saying, hey, I'd like to be a guest on the podcast. Here's my work. And I immediately connected with it because I thought it was great work. And she has a new short coming out called The Happy Side. And I would stick to her Twitter and Instagram to see when you can watch that, because I know it's premiering soon at a film festival next week, actually. But yeah, so Michelle is just a wonderful person to chat with, and I'm going to stop talking so we can actually listen to the chat, all right? So everybody sit back, relax, and Chris, cue the music, please.
So far, it's a beautiful day here in LA. It's a little warm. We're supposed to have kind of a heat wave this week, like mid to high 90s. So yeah.
Okay. What is the normal temp over there?
I would say, around this time it's usually like high 80s.
Oh, okay.
And then, when it gets into heat wave, it could be anywhere from like 92 to like 105.
Right. Now, you're from the East Coast, right?
Yes, New York.
Okay, so was that a huge adjustment to go from East Coast to West Coast? We'll say weather-wise for now.
No, because the summers there get really hot in New York too, except for it's more humid on the East Coast. So I think it's actually more bearable here. So it's not, a huge adjustment because it can get just as hot as in New York during the summer.
Okay. I'm always amazed because I live in San Antonio where the humidity here sucks as well. And I wear shorts and flip-flops because, I want to stay cool because I'm a crazy person. But I'm always amazed where, it'll be in the high 80s, 90s. People are walking around in pants, wearing hoodies. I'm just like, what is the matter with you guys?
Yeah. I guess to protect against the sun, maybe? I don't know.
I have the perfect way to protect yourself against the sun. And I think you know where I'm going. You just stay inside.
Yeah.
You stay inside. You go see a movie. You hang out inside, indoors.
That's very true.
I haven't done a TED talk on this yet, but I feel like it's coming soon.
You know what I've never understood is when people wear a hoodie with shorts. I guess I've never understood that.
Okay, well, so I live in San Antonio, but I grew up in Oregon, and I totally do get the whole beanie short thing craze. It's just West Coast style. You don't know what the weather's gonna be, so it's like I'll take a hoodie, but I know it's not pant weather, so I'll just wear shorts. But I do miss that fashion of shorts and hoodies.
Yeah. You definitely get that a lot out here.
Especially if it's a light hoodie. It has to be a light hoodie. If it's a heavy hoodie, then yeah, that's weird. But if it's literally like shirt thin, then okay, all right, I get that.
Yeah.
But so this is weather talk and hoodie talk, where this is all we're going to talk about. So I hope you're ready. No, so man, and you sent me over your press kit, and I was going over it, and you worked retail.
Yes.
What was it? No,
yeah, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, yeah, I worked retail for like 3 to 5 years.
And was it like clothing retail?
Clothing retail primarily, yeah.
Okay, so this brings it all back to clothes. What was the number one selling hood? No, I'm just kidding. I've worked retail, and I still do, but it's on my own terms, which is always kind of nice. But still, nobody knows the pain that we go through unless you work retail.
Yes.
When you were doing retail, were you going to school for film, or like where did you get the film bug?
So I didn't go to film school,
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't get the film bug until I came out here to LA. I feel like I kind of fell into it. So basically, kind of how I got here is, so originally from New York, I moved to Montana, of all places, for a job opportunity out there. I ended up getting a part-time job in retail just because I was bored on the weekends.
Mm-hmm.
And then so I was there for a year and then decided that, I wasn't happy in Montana. It was just too slow paced for me, too cold. And so I ended up moving to Oregon, Portland specifically. And I was able to transfer with the retail company that I was working for at the time. They gave me a promotion and I got to transfer. So it was nice that I could, secure that job, before even moving there.
Mm-hmm.
So I did that for 2 years. I was in Portland, and then I was kind of burned out by life in retail, and I was like, I've always wanted to go to California, so why don't I just go to California? So I started applying to jobs in LA and San Francisco, and I was like, wherever I get a job first is kind of where I'll go. And so I got a job offer in San Francisco. It was for food service management. It's kind of the same thing as retail, not necessarily what I wanted to be doing, but,
right.
It was a job and it got me to California. So I was in San Francisco for, about a year. And then, when I pictured California, I was picturing like sunshine and palm trees and warm weather. Basically, I was picturing LA. I realized that San Francisco was not that. So then I moved to Santa Cruz because I had a friend out there, and I ended up getting another job there, but in retail again, doing retail management. And then I was there for like 6 months, and I was like, what am I doing? Like, I keep just kind of circling back into the same realm of like retail and not really progressing career-wise, but at the time didn't really know what I wanted to do. So I was like, you know what, I'm just going to go to LA because I've always wanted to go there. And so I came out here. This time I was like, you know what, I'm going to do things a little bit different. I'm going to get settled first, and then I'm going to, get a job that I really want to do versus the convenience of just having it when I get there.
Right.
And because also finding an apartment is just very difficult when you move to a new city.
Mm-hmm.
And so I kind of wanted to get, settled. So I came out here. And then, I didn't know what I wanted to do. I was applying to like a lot of different, random office jobs, nothing that I was like, okay, I'm passionate about this. I really want to do this. And then one day I started reflecting. I was like, I've always wanted to write this like sort of fictionalized memoir. And I've talked about it for a really long time. And I've journaled about it, like wrote bits and pieces here and there, but never actually like sat down to write it. And so I was like, I'm going to write that book that I've always been talking about. And so I started writing it, and I got to like 98 pages, and I was like, where am I going with this? It's just so like all over the place. It didn't have a central theme. I think I was kind of just taking bits and pieces of my life and trying to like make a story out of it. And I was like, yeah, this doesn't make sense. So I was like, how can I write this so that it's, separate stories? And so when I thought about it, I was like, well, I see it as a movie in my head. I wonder how you write a movie. And so then I go to Google, how do you write a movie? Screenplays. Oh, okay, cool. And then I found out that there were like a bunch of meetup groups for screenwriting in LA. And I kind of debated about going to them for a while because I guess at the time I was worried that like, because I didn't know anything about screenwriting, that they'd kind of be like, why are you here?
Right.
And so I kind of debated for like a month about whether or not I was going to go to these groups. I finally went to one, and they were so welcoming and encouraging. And then, it was a group where everybody brings in 10 pages of their screenplay, and then they go around and give feedback on those 10 pages. And so, that gave me the opportunity to see what a screenplay was, hear what not to do in a screenplay, what's good to do. And then I was like, okay, I see what you guys are doing. I think I can do this. And then I just started teaching myself. I, read as much as I could and just, started writing. And I think because I had already a background in journalism and creative writing, so I've always kind of been writing my whole life, but never really thought about actually pursuing it as a career. But once I started writing and I brought in pages a couple weeks later, and people were like, this is the first screenplay you've ever written? I'm like, yeah, why? And this is really good. And so having that, encouragement from, people who didn't even know me, I was like, maybe this is what I need to be doing. Mm-hmm. And so I did that for a couple months, and then I was like, I really want to make something that I've written, because just from, networking and talking to a lot of people, I had heard that actually creating something that you've written is a good way to get noticed as an unknown writer.
Right.
So then I started going to meetup groups specifically for filmmaking, and networked with people who are kind of, mid-level, some people just starting out, but, obviously more experienced than me. So at the time, so I started networking with them, building friendships. And then I got brought on to, from one of the writers groups that I went to, there was a director who liked my writing, who's like, hey, I'm doing a crowdfunding campaign for a feature that I'm working on. Would you want to come on board? And I was like, sure. I had no idea what crowdfunding was at the time. And, but, the opportunity to like see the filmmaking process, I was like, this would be great. And so he kind of became, my mentor. He taught me about directing and filmmaking. And so that was, a great experience. So then I went back to my filmmaking group, and those people I had networked with, I said, hey, I wrote this short. Would you guys want to help me make it? And they liked the script, and they helped me make it. And after that, I think I just had the bug after that, because it was like, I think the thing that excites me about filmmaking is the challenge of it. Mm-hmm. And so it's like every time I make something, I'm like, I can do better. I want to do better on the next thing. So it's like the challenge is like every single time it's like, all right, let me focus on this for the next one. Let me focus on this for the next one. So I guess with each project that I do, I try to pick one thing from the last film that I did that I think could have been better and incorporate, focus on that for the next film. And so it's and it's just, I think, a magical feeling when, you're able to take a script and bring it to life and see it on screen. It's kind of surreal.
Yeah, no, there's definitely like no really better feeling to be able to say this is something that I thought of and it went all the way to completion, and here it is for people to watch. And also it's nice that you have a wonderful support group, because that's, I mean, self-starting is hard to do. If you have people around you that know what they're doing, but also can lift you up and support you, oh my gosh, that makes a huge bit of difference.
Absolutely, yeah. I feel like if I didn't have that network of people, like if I hadn't gone to those screenwriting groups and just sat at home and was like, I'm going to write a screenplay, and nobody ever reads it, like, and I have no, people that I've met that are encouraging me, I probably would have given up, because I wouldn't have had that support to be like, hey, this is really good, keep going. So I think you need that. I think it's essential in this industry, or in any industry, really.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. It when I was living in Oregon, I kind of had a support group, and when I say support group, I mean I had all my friends there that, okay, I need to do this. Can I teach you how to do this? Okay, yeah, I'll do it. And that was real fun for me. Then when I moved out to Texas, like I had nobody, and so filming for me just took a huge stop. But luckily I've been able to meet a couple of friends that like to film, so hopefully I can get back into the groove of things. But I totally get it. I totally get it.
Yeah, and I think that was, definitely the challenge for me, and something that I hear a lot from other filmmakers too is like, how do you get started when you don't know anyone? And like for me, I mean, I came out here not knowing a single person in LA or a single thing about filmmaking. So I guess it's just, getting yourself out there and, putting in the work to meet other people. And I'm a total introvert too. So it's like, for me to go to, networking things by myself is a challenge, because, I'm definitely more on the introverted side. So, but yeah, I think it's, definitely possible. And it's crazy when you go through your contacts list, and I guess this is like the producer side of me, but like I never, delete contacts, because it's like when you really dig deep and go through your contacts, it's like you realize people that you didn't even really know that you knew, like who have, connections, or that whole, 3 degrees of separation.
Yeah.
And so somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody, and that's kind of how I think everything happens in LA.
And you mentioned that for each project you try to focus on something individual that you want to, improve on. For the Happy Side, which is your newest project, what was that goal?
For the Happy Side, it was really focusing on visual comedy. So I had done a comedy last year too called This May Take a While. And I felt like for that one, the cinematography was good, and it's all, very basic shots. But I felt like, for the Happy Side, I was really like, how can I, tell the story through the camera? How can I come up with some visually interesting shots that are funny and that are going to help tell the story? So I planned like a lot of match cutting, because I love visual transitions through scenes when I watch films. So I just kind of thought about like all the things that I like when I, watch a movie. And so visual transitions was one of them, funny ways in which people can come in and out of frame, and things like that. So I wanted it to be more than just like joke.
Right.
So that was the goal of the Happy Side, for at least one particular. There were other things too, but that was, I think, the main thing.
Visual is always that thing that because I went to film school, and that it's something that I wanted to do. And I remember right when like the visual side hit me, I was working on my final project, and I was working with our teacher, somebody who I have a lot of respect for, and we were doing the first shot of my short film, and we said cut, and I said, you know what, I think maybe I want to, move the camera a little bit. And he said, "Oh my God, you should, because it looks like a stage play that you're doing right now." And I was just, no. And so whenever I do a shot or think of a shot or anything like that echoes in my brain to make it look a little bit, a bit more interesting. And so I thank him, but I'm haunted by that to this day.
Yeah. Yeah, it's tough, I think, doing, visual comedy. I think comedy in general is just difficult.
Yeah,
and so to think of interesting ways that are funny and that you haven't seen a million times before, I think it's definitely a challenge.
The thing that I'm always interested in is just making the mundane look good, like a 2-person scene. I'm like, how are some cool ways that I can mix it up, or
Right.
make it look interesting, and just that's kind of what goes through my head. As far as genres for you, is there one in particular that let's say maybe you wrote a script for, but you're just waiting for either, I don't know, your skill level or the inspiration to really take on the project?
I mean, I don't think I have one that I'm kind of like waiting for inspiration or feel like skill level will hit. I mean, when I wrote The Happy Side, I knew that it was a very ambitious script for a lot of reasons. There's a lot going on. There's, 3 different plot lines. There's a lot of characters, setting it in a retail store where we're going to need a lot of background actors. And
Right.
so, there's definitely a lot going on, especially since I was I'm very specific on things that, I want. I focus a lot on the color palettes and the wardrobe and having everything match and, and also specific cameras and, things like that. And so I knew that was going to be a challenge. I knew that I wanted a higher caliber of actors for this one. So, I did think to myself, I could wait to make it until maybe I have a bigger pool of people that I know. But, at the end of the day, it's I feel like there's never going to be a perfect time to do anything. So you just kind of have to work with the resources that you have available and say, I'm going to make the best thing possible with the knowledge, skills, and resources that I have available in this moment.
And you mentioned background actors. Did you have any background actors in the store that were wearing hoodies and shorts?
We may have had one. I think we had one.
Okay. Look, I don't want to ever tell anybody what to do with their passion projects, but the next short, you should have more hoodies and shorts. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
You can submit it to Hoodie Short Fest, which I would be surprised if it's not a thing.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if it is. There's, a festival for everything now.
And so for people at home who want to keep up with everything that you do, follow you on the online, or the shorts in or the projects in post-production, correct?
The project is finished right now.
It's finished, okay.
Submitted to festival, so it's going to be circulating the festival circuit this fall. And but we just finished 3 weeks ago. So,
okay.
So yeah.
Okay, awesome.
So,
well, but for
festivals this fall.
So if people want to check it out or just check out your previous work, where can they all do that?
My website, michelledosantos.com. Also, some of my work is on YouTube under Dos Gigantes Productions, and then also on Instagram and Twitter.
Okay, nice. Michelle, I want to thank you for the wonderful chat and reaching out. And anytime you want to come back, just say the word. All right.
Oh, awesome! Yeah, thank you so much for having me, Chris.
Well,
it was great.
I'm sure we'll have more conversations about filmmaking and hoodies and shorts.
Absolutely.
But I'll let you go and have a wonderful day, and get some sleep. I don't know if you slept well during your project, but
Well, during the project, not that much, but
okay.
finally catching up.
There we go. But you have a wonderful day. Okay.
Thank you. You as well, Chris.
All right. Bye-bye.
Perfect.